están cayendo los misiles.
What's going on, y'all? Man, it's King Clef holding it down for the Cool Tipper, man. I'm right back at you. Trump has struck a blow with Venezuela. People are upset. People are celebrating. And it's kind of a divided line here. It's actually more people celebrating than people who are pissed. Of course, the liberals are pissed. Of course, the people who hate Trump with Trump derangement are pissed. But let's go ahead and jump into this and analyze the situation for ourselves. Check this out.
Clear about one thing. Nicolas Maduro had multiple opportunities to avoid this. He was provided multiple very, very, very generous offers and chose instead to act like a wild man, chose instead to play around. And the result is what we saw tonight. The other message here is the following. You have a guy, like many people around the world, they like to play games. You have a guy who decides he's going to invite Iran into his country, is going to, do the confiscation of American oil companies, is going to flood our country with gang members, is going to take Americans prisoner and try to hold them for hostage and trade them like he was able to do with the Biden administration. Basically likes to play games all this time and thinks nothing's going to happen. And I hope what people now understand is that we have a president. The 47th president of the United States is not a game player. When he tells you that he's going to do something, when tells you he's going to address a problem, he means it. He actions it. I can tell you, I've watched this process now for 14, 15 years, been around it. Everybody talks, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. When I get there, we're going to do this, we're going to take... This is a president of action. Like, I don't understand yet how they haven't figured this out. And now, if you don't know, now you know. Because this is the way it's going to play out. And I think people need to understand that this is not a president that just talks and does letters and press conferences. And, if he says he's serious about something, he means it. And this is something that was a direct threat to the national interest of the United States. And the president addressed it. There's a president of peace, by the way. I told you what I just said earlier. This guy had multiple opportunities to find his way somewhere else and figure out another. He could have been living somewhere else right now, very happy. But instead, he wanted to play big boy. And so now, he's got other sets of problems on his hands. And but I think the message here should be for the world. Look, the president doesn't go out looking for people to pick fights with. He's not generally wants to get along with everybody. We'll talk and meet with anybody. But don't play games. Don't play games with this president's in office because it's not going to turn out well. And so I hope that, I guess that lesson was learned last night, and we hope it'll be instructive moving forward.
Señor, gritaba el Señor, y el pobre su choza libertad pidió. Ay, qué santo no.
A few minutes later.
Perhaps no one is going to miss a tyrant like Maduro. Is this a legal thing? I mean, who voted for this? Who said, hey, yeah, go on in there and do this? Because originally, wasn't it, he was concerned about the drugs coming in and out, and yet he pardoned like a giant kingpin. And so what is this all about?
Voted for this? The people in South Florida. The Venezuelan community, the Cuban American community, the Nicaraguan American community voted for this. And for us, this is a very, very happy day when we see a dictator who has been part of oppressing and abusing the Venezuelan people for 25 years. When we see him in handcuffs and held to some sort of accountability, it brought me into tears. It brought me great joy. And, I live in South Florida.
But are you okay with the way that it was done?
But you can, I think both things can be true.
Okay.
I think you can criticize and ask questions and have concerns about the way it was done and what this means in the future.
Right.
And I think you can still celebrate that this murderous, corrupt, sadistic son of a bitch is out of Venezuela.
Yeah.
Because he has... I think there's 8 million Venezuelan exiles all over the world. People have fled from this man's tyrannical rule. So...
Looking forward to Venezuela. Obviously, the updates from there, y'all don't care. Are we going to war or not? I don't see why nobody is talking about this. This is crazy.
many times have we gotta learn? Stop going to people's countries.
Mind your business.
America don't have a good track record.
He ran on that.
Yeah.
Where does this end?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, they said it was about drugs, but then they're stopping oil tankers, and they're obviously trying to get the man out of there and push for a regime change. It's just, there's too much going on. Nobody's getting a trial or arrested. They're just getting killed in the middle of the ocean, in international waters. I mean, the whole thing is just nuts.
It is a lot.
At least prove that
something.
Sounds crazy. Prove it first.
Because they haven't offered any evidence.
Yeah.
They just said,
anything. Just trust
believe us, bro.
Just believe us. Just believe us.
That's
And
nuts.
the thing that's sick. That's the thing that's sick. Because it could be innocent people that's
could
dying.
be. They got no clue.
Yeah.
Well, they say they have a clue. They just say that's confidential, and you know the people who know need to know, have to know.
Just
they know
trust
you
the
don't.
government.
Yeah. Government would never lie to you, right?
Yeah, right?
The military has attacked Venezuela, kidnapped its president, Nicolas Maduro, and flown him and his wife out of the country. Here are 4 things you need to know. Number 1, this is an act of war. Under the U.S. Constitution, only Congress can declare war, not the president. Number 2, this was never about drugs. Since September, at least 115 civilians have been killed in Trump's boat strikes in the Caribbean and Pacific. Yet Trump recently pardoned Juan Orlando Hernandez, the former president of Honduras, who was convicted in court of trafficking hundreds of tons of cocaine into the United States. Number 3, this was never about democracy. Yes, Maduro is a dictator, but Trump embraced other dictators, praising Vladimir Putin, exchanging love letters with Kim Jong-un, and even hosting Saudi Arabia's crown prince after U.S. intelligence said he approved the murder of a Washington Post journalist. Here in Brazil, Trump even pressured courts to protect former President Bolsonaro after a January 6th-style insurrection. But Venezuela has the world's largest oil reserves, and Trump has openly said he wants the oil. Number 4, this sets a dangerous precedent. If U.S. presidents can, quote, capture foreign presidents they don't like and release the ones they do like, we don't have a democracy ourselves.
Cut that bitch off! Next call.
Venezuela didn't control its oil, so if you think it's about the oil, you don't understand how dangerous the Maduro regime became. Not just for Venezuela, but for Americans too. By taking down Maduro, Donald Trump didn't just end the dictatorship. He cut off oil and money supply that was fueling the regimes of China, Russia, Iran, and Cuba. While critics keep on saying it was about the oil, the reality is Venezuela didn't fully control its oil anymore. Maduro's regime was over leveraged. China had the oil tied up in massive loan deals. Cuba provided security and intelligence in exchange for oil. Russia traded weapons and military support for oil. Iran used Venezuela to move money and gold to dodge sanctions. So the oil was already spoken for, and it wasn't even benefiting the Venezuelan people. What actually happened was the dismantling of a foreign-controlled system that propped up hostile regimes, funding drugs, weapon, and instability that directly harms America. And that's the Trump doctrine. Identify the threat, cut off the leverage, restore security, all without endless wars. You should be happy. This is something to celebrate, just like the Venezuelan people are celebrating right now.
So what I find odd is so many people who are trying to project their hatred, their disdain for this administration, for Trump, regardless of what he does, regardless if it's good, regardless if the people are celebrating and dancing in the streets, happy that this has happened. They're somehow, some way trying to make it and form it into a way that makes it seem as if he's done something horribly wrong. They can't stand it. They want to see him go down for any and everything that could possibly make him go down for. And it's a sad situation. It's a sad situation. It shows you especially how divided we are within ourselves and then also with the world. Because the world has a different view. And people can say that they don't like Trump for his rhetoric, how he talks, the immigration shit. But he's helping people as well. And so I don't understand how we don't see that. I don't understand how we don't know that, taking down a dictator such as him. And they're going to say this. What they're going to try to do is say, well, he's taking down a dictator, but what about him? He's not a fucking dictator. But people are so pea-brained that they would still say that he's a dictator of some sorts by utilizing the things that he has at his access, right? These are things, just because people haven't used their executive power in the same way that he's used his executive power does not mean that he's not able to use that executive power. Otherwise, that executive power wouldn't be there for him to use. I don't understand how you can't connect these thoughts. He's not going over Congress or going or anything, or they would definitely impeach him. They would definitely have taken him down. There's no way that he could be a dictator of any sorts and still remain president of the United States of America. It's just impossible. But we like to throw these cliche words around and throw these terms around and throw these our own ideology on what is actually happening instead of looking at what is actually happening. Yeah, things haven't all the way been done right here, right? Like things are still expensive, but it takes time to bring inflation down. The tariffs weren't the greatest thing, but they actually did start to work in certain areas and bring prices down. Prescription prices are about to go down. They just signed a major bill for that. And I'm just speaking about some of the things that I know that has actually happened and some of the things I know that's actually working, right? So I don't know, I have my issues with the medical insurance companies. I have my issues with health. From what I hear, is going up about 200% across the board. So I have my issues with that, definitely. And there's still things that I wish that could be done that aren't done yet. But I also look at the things that have been done and that he is doing. And I don't understand where all this hate's coming from. Now, directly, specifically to this Venezuela situation, I don't get that shit at all. How people are so mad. But it's not that they're so mad at that, actually. They are just hating and have hatred for Trump. So anything that he does, regardless if it has a helping effect or a trickle down effect, I mean, they even try to make it seem like it's all about the oil. They don't understand the spoils of war. They don't understand the strategicness of this thing. And that's why I've had to bring this put this clip up with this young lady who's actually Venezuelan as well, breaking down what is all connected to. It's not about the oil. It's about the fact that they are funding communist and other terroristic organizations through some of the money that they're using as well. And the money and the oil is not even theirs anymore. It's all spoken for. It's just there. It's not theirs. Do you understand the difference? It's there. It's not theirs anymore. So it's crazy to me that we can't see truth and acknowledge truth. We rather see truth and then say what we want it to be, right? It's almost like the left has the same delusion or delusional complex as most of the LGBTQ, especially trans individuals. I know I see a man. I wake up in the morning, I stand up and pee. Even if I sit down, there's something dangling there to remind me that, hey, I'm a boy. Now, even if I get that removed to further dive into my delusion, even if I try to make the truth be what I want it to be when I'm looking right at the truth, it's still something in me that should tell me, hey, in the back of my brain, I'm not crazy. The truth is the truth. I should be able to have a cohesive thought that says, hey, you know what? I might be tripping. But in order to do that, then you have to accept reality. In order to be able to be honest with yourself, you would have to admit certain things that would actually diminish your argument, right? So if you hate Trump and then you give a pass or a kudos or a thumbs up to something that he's done good, then it almost makes it seem like the rest of your argument is null and void because now you hate, or now your hate is not warranted. You understand what I'm saying? So now you can't just lie to yourself and say he's all bad and everything that he's doing is bad and this and that and the third. Now you have to admit that he actually done something good. Now you have to admit that he's actually a man of action, right? So it's the same delusion that the LGBTQ, the T especially, seems to have. And shit, the L has it too. You know what I'm saying? With them studs, like shit. Oh, I'm a dude. I'm a guy. I wear my strap on, and so it makes me a dude. But you're sitting down and pissing with a plastic. The levels of the delusion on that side is crazy. But that's how a lot of the Trump derangement syndrome goes. The Venezuelan people are telling you, man, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm reading the comments they're saying you don't know what you're talking about. We're happy. We're happy. We're happy. And people are still making videos and still making comments and still talking about you can't be happy. It's an insane world. It's an insane world that we live in, where you can't see both sides of the coin, where you can't acknowledge good and wrong. Two things can't possibly be true at the same time. And it's just an insane world. where you literally are trying to tell a whole nother country and a whole nother race of people how they should feel about what your president has done for them when they're happy that he's done what he's done for them. It's it's crazy. And I'll catch all y'all cool kids at the cool table next time. Deuces.